You good? All right. Here we go. Speed. 3, 2, 1. It's time for the Mission Story Slam podcast, brought to you by PWPvideo. I'm Michael Schweisheimer. I'm the executive producer at PWPvideo, Mission Story Slam, and having just returned from Chicago, I'm a Malort survivor. If you know, you know. So, I also have survived throwing a dozen Mission Story Slams. Now our 13th edition is scheduled for Tuesday evening, November 18th at National Mechanics. We are very excited to have been invited to be a part of Generosity's Philanthropy Week. We're adapting their theme for the slam, so prepare your stories on the theme of Braver Today. Learn about other events at philanthropyweek.org. That's PHLanthropyweek.org. In other exciting partnership news, the Philadelphia Citizen is now officially our media sponsor. If you aren't already reading The Citizen, head over to thephiladelphiacitizen.org. There's one sponsorship gap we are still looking to fill, which is a new lead sponsor. If you're interested in reaching our audience of engaged and inspiring Philadelphians, let us know by dropping an email to info@pwpvideo.com. The one thing that Mission Story Slam is never missing is connections. Lots of them. I first learned about today's guest at Ignite Philly 24, which was in May of 2024. Ignite was actually a major inspiration for me in putting together Mission Story Slam. It's a group of presentations that lasts 5 minutes with 20 slides and 15 seconds a slide, no stopping. It is crazy. It was started by a group of people, including Jeff Damasi, Alex Hillman, Adam Teteris, and probably some other cool folks that I don't even know about. So I'm there for the first post-COVID Ignite, and Roz Pichardo takes the stage along with Clayton Ruley. Roz has this book where she records the overdoses she's reversed. So back a year and a half ago, that number was at 2335. Roz, do you have any idea what the number is today?
I would say it's about a little over 3,000.
My goodness, that is way too many to have added to that list in that short a period of time.
Yeah, I'm on my second book, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
To continue how I met you, the next time I saw you, you showed up at the Fittler Club, where I learned we both had been selected in the inaugural cohort of the Fittler Foundation Impact Residents. There's a little shout out to Dr. Kimberly McGlawn. But I knew that I wanted Roz to come and tell a story. So she was nervous, she was unsure, and she hated that she couldn't bring that little book as a prop, but she showed up, and she showed up big. And she won the Judges Award that night, and an awful lot of love from the audience, and definitely undying respect and love from me. So before we fully get started, I do want to give just a couple trigger warnings. Roz's story is tough. Roz, I may need your help here, but I know people need to be ready to hear about intimate partner violence, murder, suicide, substance use disorder, depression, and trauma in general. Is there anything I might have missed?
Yeah, maybe a little graphic with how I describe my memory of many of those things. So yeah, definitely trigger warning.
Oh, Roz, we swear on this podcast, so feel free, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, and there's also, an L warning.
Yes, there is this thing that we call the Kensington pause, but we won't pause, but you will hear the train as it rolls by the space. So
I love that that's the name of it. That's cool.
yeah.
But I will point out, believe it or not, with all of those trigger warnings, there is some good news. I'm going to let Roz's story tell it a little bit more fully, but today will also be about overcoming trauma. We're going to hear about harm reduction. And you're probably going to hear the word sunshine more often than you're used to hearing it. Is there anything else you think we should say before I play your story for everybody?
Yeah, let's roll with it.
So the theme is the time is now, but I want to kind of begin with the time was then. 16 years old, I survived an attempted homicide by a childhood boyfriend. So I experienced that early on in life, and my journey to surviving was simply don't be quiet. Just speaking up. And when I survived that attempted homicide by an ex who then murdered my boyfriend, was overwhelming at the age of 16 and having to testify and being intimidated by family members and other folks in the community. So I learned early on not to shut the fuck up, to speak up. So that was at 16. And the pain was overwhelming. However, I lived, right? I got to tell the story and got to testify. But then heartache hit again. So my identical twin sister, Kathleen Pichardo, who suffered from mental health and substance use disorder, was allowed access to a firearm. Literally 2 days after being released from a mental facility, was able to purchase a 9mm. And then ultimately took her life. My activism didn't stop with my boyfriend. It didn't stop with my attempted homicide. Then it increased my ability to heal from trauma of losing my boyfriend, almost losing my life, and then losing part of myself. I spoke up. I talked about her. I tried my best to share my life with folks and how it was to lose part of me, Kathleen Pichardo. So then it was just another skill of learning to heal from one trauma from another trauma. 2012. My brother, who was a happily gay man, was going to go pick up some dinner, and someone approached him and my nephew. They said to him, "Give up your shit." Gave him everything he had. Not only did he give him his keys, his money, they called him a faggot and they took his life. My trauma didn't end there. The activism began. The time was then. The fire that was lit inside me because of the loss, immense loss, the loss of my boyfriend, the attempt on my life, the suicide of my sister, dealing with a fucking broken system that didn't defend us. The time was now. Operation Save Our City was born in 2012, fighting for the justice of people who want to live freely, whether you're gay, you're bi, you're part of the LGBTQ. Who gives a fuck? You have the right to live whoever you want to be. So the time was now. So when Operation Save Our City was built, we were helping support families of homicide victims, but layers of trauma that needed to be healed for myself, for my mother, for my family. The politicians didn't have a clue how to deal with our agony and our pain. We went to a certain council person, or we won't even say any names, because I'm not trying to make this political. There was no help. So this is where I began to create spaces for people who needed to heal. Operation Save Our City was born. And now we have a place so people can come and heal. And now we're dealing with families of homicide victims, but we're also dealing with people who are unhoused in addiction. And these fucked up policies of mobile services that people need, and now you're causing more harm. The time is now. The system of fucking ICE coming in schools. The time is now. We gotta speak up. You know, as a Dominican woman and dealing with families who are being like deported for being hardworking fucking citizens, the time is now. So if you want to help support an organization that's been on the grounds for over a decade, the fucking time is now. So come down to Kensington. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I'm serving 300 people a day. Both families of homicide victims, people in addiction, people who are hurting. My mom is volunteering. She's fucking healing. Years of seeing sorrow. Did I not mention that a year after my brother was shot dead, my dad, I forgot to mention that. My dad said, I want to find my son's shooter. Changed who he was as a person. Every black man that walked around with Timberlands and khaki pants, he killed my son. No, Pop, he didn't. changed my dad forever. He would say every day, I want to die and not wake up. I want to go to sleep. I want to go to bed. I don't want to wake up. One day, he went to bed and he didn't wake up. So you want to support? The time is now. Thank you.
You okay, Roz?
Oh, yeah. I could almost hear like the pain in my voice when I forgot to mention about my dad. It's wild.
In the world of storytelling and story slams, one of the main things we do to everybody is we don't let you come up with notes or props or things like that. And it is really easy to get into that moment. And you had so much going on in your life, but in that story.
Yeah, it's so raw.
You were so raw. And I think that's why the audience really was so intently listening and so bonded to what your story was. It's a hell of a thing to be able to show up that way. So thank you. I know that's how you show up in your life, but man.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about maybe starting this after we played your story. Would you mind if we just had a brief moment to honor your high school boyfriend, your twin sister, your brother, and your father? Maybe just 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let's do that. Silence in a podcast might get a little weird, so I'm keeping it a little shorter than maybe we might in other situations. But yeah. I wanted to maybe have that space for you, for our listeners, because it is not a light story. So, hey, you mentioned that you were going back and listening to the story before the podcast, and I appreciate you doing that. And you said you shared it with your staff, and I'm curious what some of their reactions were like.
So we played it in the space, and a lot of folks didn't know why I started, the Sunshine House or Operation Save Our City. And they gave them some more insight about how we got started. And some of the volunteers also didn't know my story. They just come from different backgrounds and say, hey, I want to help. We have a shared respect for one another because now I know their stories. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, wow, that's similar to what happened to me earlier on in life. And so we may see eye to eye on some things, and we may have experienced some of the same things.
For some reason, because of the context in which I'd met you, both through the Ignite and then at the Impact Fellowship, I thought you led with your story a little bit more. It's intense. I wouldn't want to have to tell that story every day, but I'm a little surprised that some of your staff and volunteers were not familiar with that. Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't, I think, because I wear different hats and I work for a long time. I was working in different places. So when someone used to see me working in an ER, that would be different. When they see me working at Prevention Point, when I used to work there, they would think, oh, automatically, maybe she's in recovery, which I'm not. So it just depends on where you find me or where we met. And they just don't know in depth, like, where all of this fight came from.
So you mentioned working in an ER. Do you have a medical background? I actually don't know what you might have studied.
No, let me tell you, I don't have a degree in shit but the streets, to be honest. It's just, when I was working at the ER, I was a trauma advocate. Okay. I solely work with gunshot victims, rapes, and assaults. And my role there was to connect people to services to find out who they are, who's the next of kin, prepare them for when the family comes to view them if they didn't survive, that kind of thing. And just get general details of what happened.
Well, you've got multiple PhDs as far as I'm concerned. So,
yes.
Yeah. So there's that.
Street cred.
Yeah. Damn right. So do me a favor. I've mentioned Sunshine. You've mentioned Sunshine House. Can you explain what the word sunshine means in Roz world?
Yes. So sunshine for me is like someone who is like either unhoused or in addiction and I don't know your name, or if I just don't know your name. If you're down in Kensington and I don't know your name and we met, whether you're a professional or whatever, you're sunshine. But it's pretty funny, when, hey, sunshine, you say that, everybody's turning around. So, oh, no, the sunshine in the blue shirt. Let me get the sunshine in the blue shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's everybody knows. Everyone knows down here what a sunshine is. Oh, it's me.
Roz, you are.
Or it's her across the street.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it's also, you are an awful lot of sunshine,
yeah.
My friend.
Oh, yeah, I'm Mama Sunshine. No doubt. They call me Mama Sunshine down here, so it's okay.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. Mama Sunshine's the best. So the big question that comes up for me, hearing that story and then knowing about the work that you've been doing, you talked about when you lost your brother, that's when you started Operation Save Our City. But it seems to me like your whole life, or at least your whole grown-up life, you have really been channeling trauma into activism. Mm-hmm. The things that you have been through and experienced, I don't think anyone would fault you if you'd had times where you were not being a very positive person. Did you actively make that decision? Is it inherent in you as a human? Like, how did you channel trauma to activism?
So I always try to find an outlet for the pain that I was experiencing. And this started very early on. I love my mom dearly. No shade on my mom. My mom was a tough mom. She was very, very tough early on, and she had kids very early as well. Mm-hmm. So her ability to be the mom that she is now wasn't the same. So it was like borderline beatings. Like, we did some shit, we're getting our ass kicked, right? Yeah. But there was some other things that would have been borderline. Young mom, my dad left when I was 6. And then my stepdad came along, and my steppop, who raised me, was an awesome dad. But my mom just didn't know how to be that mom for a long time until she had more kids, right?
Okay.
With my stepdad. And then something shifted my mom where she was becoming a really good mom and a mom who was more aware. And finally, I started to love my mom again.
Oh, that's awesome.
And and then, of course, it's like many years later, but I always try to find an outlet for the pain that I was experiencing. I always use sports. I always use writing. I always used art growing up in high school and in middle school when I used to experience these things with my mom. So I had to escape it some way.
I was just having this conversation the other day. I think he was quoting someone who I can't remember the quote, so I'll get it wrong, but it was something effective. An idea is just an idea until you put it down on paper. And I'm wondering if having that writing practice may be a strong word, but that writing habit, if that helped you. Oh, there's that Kensington pause. Mm-hmm. That's right in the building. But if that writing habit helped you to solidify the idea that you wanted to start to do things. Because I think it's all of us think like, oh, I'm having a hard time. There are things I'd like to do. Do you think that writing those words down for yourself helped you to channel from ideas to action?
No, you know what? I think my writing was more about how I hated my situation.
Okay.
And I think I'm not a doctor, but I think that what happens is with people with ADHD like myself,
or like me. Just saying.
Love that. I was always about doing something physically. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't really like reading and writing that much, but when I did, it was always dark.
Okay.
It wasn't like one of those writings like, oh, you're so powerful. It was like, no, this John about to go into a mental institute. Like, the stuff was so dark because I was experiencing such pain growing up. But my ability to run and to jump hurdles, and as a gymnast, that was always my thing, my outlet.
Do you still, whether or not it's organized sports, are you still athletic? Do you still get out and do that?
Oh, you nuts? I might break a bone. I'm old.
My goodness.
Man, I'm afraid I'm going to get a little arthritis in the elbows. I'm not doing it. I do go to the gym, though.
Okay.
That's as close as fitness as I get and that's barely. When I go to the gym, sometimes I go and do the massage chair, if that counts.
You know what? I like your approach to the gym. Listen, Operation Save Our City. You talked about starting it in 2012, and I think in the timing of your story, that was precipitated by your brother's murder. Mm-hmm. Was that something that you had been thinking of before that tragedy, or how did it come up? How did that idea start?
I remember how I felt when my boyfriend was murdered and the power that I felt when I testified. And when my brother was murdered, there was no shooter. We don't know who the shooter is. We never caught the shooter. So my only way that I can gain that power back to motivate people to do stuff was to be on the front line. And that was just to ignite something in other people that I felt once before, especially cases that are unsolved. So my way of doing that was just supporting the families, being there, listening to them. When I knew that someone was murdered in Philly, I'll be the first one on the mom's couch. How can I help? What can we do? While I'm sitting on the couch talking to this mom, one of my volunteers are doing the dishes or folding the ladies' laundry or, the normal things that moms and family members don't want to do in a time of grief. And it's really that simple. Just being there, being present with folks. My mom didn't want to do no dishes. My mom didn't want to do laundry. My mom didn't want to take care of the family. She was grieving. So in order to lend support, that's just some of the little things that we used to do for a long time. Just helping families solve cases.
Solve cases?
Oh, yeah. That was another. So there's this film that we did. It's called Mother Undercover. And it's played on Hulu. And it talks about a mother and myself, and she lost her son. And Lisa would pretend to be someone she wasn't. I would pretend to be someone that I wasn't. Almost like catfishing on social media and in person. Social media, obviously, we didn't look like what we portrayed ourselves. We would get answers. Like, we would find out where the shooting happened, and we would troll everybody and their mom who was in that bar that night. And we found out where they lived. We found out who the shooter was. We found out what biker clubs they were. Oh, we were sassy. Let me tell you. I wore these shoes. My feet hurt for days. I was this little sassy queen down on Fifth Street, almost like a lady of the night type John.
Oh, my God.
And we went into this biker club, and we sat there. We had a few cocktails or whatever, but we were getting answers left and right for these shooters, and it was just like...
That's crazy.
At all costs, right? And then we were handing out flyers, and then when I found out where they lived at, early on I made really dumb mistakes, like saying Operation Save Our City on these flyers. I know in hindsight that if I'm looking for somebody, I'm not going to put Operation Save Our City. I'm just going to put Crimes Commission or something and put the tip line, which is citywide tip line. So I would find out where the shooter's family live at, where their mom live at, where their aunt live at. I'm like, yo, your son's wanted for murder. Wow. Or your cousin's wanted for murder. And I put it in their mailbox. $20,000 reward. Who wants it? I would do crazy shit like that. Putting myself at risk a lot. So I've shied away from doing that. But that's how we used to find shooters, because money talks. When somebody's broke, there's a $20,000 reward. Yeah. So we're sharing that.
Did you find a lot of people?
Yeah. We were able to find a lot of people through our work.
That's wild. I did not know that was part of what you'd done in Operation Save Our City at all.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things we don't share because, again, when I used to live like early on when my brother was murdered.
I just want to check. You do know that I'm putting this out as a podcast, right? Like,
yeah, it's okay.
You're okay with me
I'm
putting
cool.
that out? I don't want to share anything that's going to put you in any...
No, it's cool. I mean, that danger is done.
We have tens of listeners. Tens.
It's okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so it's just like for me, we do the work and sometimes there's some danger involved. But when it got too bad, like it got really, really bad one time where we were following this, we're going to call him H. We were following H and there was a murder that happened and he found out where I lived. So, you ever seen like The World's Dumbest Criminals where they use the same car that they shot someone with to shoot up your house? That's what he did. The same car.
Shot up your house, Roz?
Oh, yeah. So I had to move. I was on Allegheny, living on Allegheny. So I moved. They ended up catching him. I watch a lot of crime shows. I would dump the car or burn it or something. Well, he kept the car. He kept riding around the same car. So that's what happened.
I mean, we'll start with the line of work that they're in already, but I'm just glad you were okay. And that,
yeah, for sure.
That's some scary stuff.
Oh, good.
So
yeah, this work is scary.
So when you started Operation Save Our City, were you focused on trying to find shooters? Like, when did you start doing the mobile services in the community and helping people experiencing addiction disorders?
Oh, so I was burnt out. I was burnt out from working with families of homicide victims for a while.
Understandable.
But I knew that I wanted to serve. I just didn't know in what capacity. I started riding around in my minivan and we made peanut butter jelly sandwiches and rolled up some socks and we're just like giving that stuff out on the avenue. And then between then, I kept finding people blue and unresponsive. I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this? This guy's not breathing. What do I do with this? What in heaven's earth do I do with this? So I learned how to reverse an overdose. And then now I'm like 3,000 overdose reversals in. I never left either field. So now I'm doing both. I guess it's the same field of trauma, but different field of services.
Well, I mean, there's no shortage of trauma that people need help with, but there's very few people that'll step into it the way that you do.
I did this short doc, and I remember me saying, if I don't help someone who experienced trauma, I don't know what use I am. I remember saying that, and I remember saying not chasing trauma, but being in it is actually a thing for people who've experienced trauma. Like, I'm in it all the time. I'm in it, and I can't really shut it off. It's not something I can say, oh, let me turn this light switch off. It's not like that for me. It's more, let me see how I can help you navigate it. So let's do this for it. Let's do that. So if there's something that like my community or my Sunshine's experiencing, I can give them some pointers, say, well, this is what helped for me. Now, when I'm experiencing myself, like watching someone OD or dealing with a gunshot victim, that vicarious trauma, then I know that when I get off work, I step out of it in a way where I'm going to chill. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different tonight. Maybe I'll go to a massage place, you know.
Get in that chair.
So, yeah, get in a chair. You know, they get mad at me playing fitness, though, because I stay in the chair. I take longer than 15 minutes. And it's like, well, do you know there's a list. Okay, well, put me back on the list. You know, this is me.
Yeah.
I argue with them all the time. And they're like, I'll come in, they look at me, oh, God, look, she's coming to get the chair. I'm like, dang, y'all should have Planet Fitness. Y'all got enough money. Y'all should get like 5 fucking chairs then.
Yeah, get another chair.
Get a whole room full of chairs. They got like 4 hydro chairs and 2 little chairs.
You're cracking me up so much. Sorry, it's just funny.
Yeah,
But
they need to do better with them chairs. There's people like me that need to go in there and use some chairs.
yeah, for real. You deserve some support and some massage. But I'm going to back you up for just 1 second because you said something that I'm trying to process a little bit. So you talked about how you're always in trauma, I think is maybe what you said. I could be wrong.
No, exactly what I said. Like, I'm always in it.
Let me ask you a question, because here's what I'm trying to figure out. When you say that, are you saying that you're always in trauma because of your own trauma that you've experienced and that you're in the world of helping others with trauma? Or are you talking about you're always in it because you're always putting yourself out there to help others in their trauma?
No, but I would say both. Like, I would say both. There is times where I'm here at work and something's always happening, right? So I'm always thinking about how I felt. I put myself back into that mode so that I can know, oh, when I was in it, this worked for me.
Yeah.
And I can be able to relate to the person, well, try this or do this or do, you know, just because you're feeling like this doesn't mean you always have to come in like that. For instance, I have this one Sunshine that I call him Thundercloud.
Okay.
I call him Thundercloud. So he comes in and he's always like rolling around, running into people, running into things. And I'm like, Thundercloud, why are you doing this? Why is your pants hanging off your ass? Oh, I got this going on. No, let's slow it down. We all going through some shit. It doesn't mean you have to show up like this. Just because we're experiencing this trauma or this stuff, you don't have to show up all like that. So then he'll tighten up, go back out the door, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
You can always be in it because we're always in it. But it don't mean you got to pass that shit off to everybody else all the time. You got to be a part of the solution. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm in it all the time. I feel it all the time. But it doesn't mean I got to go to spaces and everybody else got to feel it. There's got to be something that you can give to prevent or to heal people from feeling that trauma.
So, okay.
If that makes sense.
Oh, no, it makes a lot of sense. So I just want to make sure I follow and understand some of the things that you're doing on the regular. So you started out helping support families. Then you were finding and identifying murderers. Then you started getting into the street, working in Kensington, which led you to learning how to use Narcan and do reversals. It sounds like that was a big turning point for you in terms of where you were putting a lot of your time, or? So
I was doing both, to be honest. I was working at Prevention Point, which is a harm reduction space, but I also was working with Ceasefire PA when we're learning policy, legislation, and bills being passed when it comes to gun violence and what it looks like for someone who shouldn't have a weapon, background checks, universal background checks. I was learning all of these things. So I couldn't necessarily leave both worlds, but I found that there was more healing for me doing more hands-on work with people here in Kensington and with people in addiction and even though it does kind of go hand in hand, because it's a lot of sunshines out here who the reason why they're using is because they were shot or because they were physically abused and all of these dark things that lead to addiction sometimes. I found that it was happening to a lot of my folks who are using. So I do both, but I do more of this hands-on Sunshine House, clothing, case management, get people into housing, get people into treatment.
Tell me a little bit about Sunshine House, because that's pretty relatively new, isn't it? When did you open Sunshine House?
Maybe like 2 years.
That's awesome.
Maybe, yeah, like 2 years.
I'm guessing that it's close to the L. Is it close to the L?
Oh, yeah. We're we're underneath the L.
Yeah, okay. That's what it sounds like.
Yes. Like a tunnel. So, yeah, we're at the Somerset station. Legit at the Somerset station. Literally, when you get off the Somerset stop, you make a right. I'm right there. The first building.
Why did you decide to open a storefront?
So I was here previously as a facilitator of art way before the pandemic. It was a collaboration of Muir Arts and KCDC, Impact Services, Prevention Point, CBH. So organizations providing a space, music, art, workshops.
Cool.
So I was facilitating stuff here. And then when they closed, they said, oh, it was due to the pandemic. I think it was because the population that we were serving. So anyway, they closed. And I wanted to come back. I was like, how do I reopen it myself? So 3 years will come by and I would tell the landlord, I said, listen, don't rent the space because I'm going to get it. And he didn't believe me. He's like, oh, I don't know. And then he gave me a number. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to work like 3 jobs. So shit, I was working 3 jobs. I was working at Prevention Point. I was working at Temple University Emergency Room. I was working for Ceasefire PA. And I was running my nonprofit, like my Operation Save Our City. So I was doing all that, trying to get my coins together. And it didn't quite happen until I did a film called Trigger. And when I did this documentary with First Person Arts, an anonymous donor came. This person says, I wish I knew who they were. And they're like, oh, we want to help support Operation Save Our City. And they did.
Wow.
They helped me with some funds, first round, and then it was like $47,000. I was like, oh, I'm going to quit one of my jobs. So I quit one of my jobs. Right? And then they came back again, and they're like, oh, we want to support again. Shit, I damn near almost had a heart attack. They gave me like, yeah, for real. They gave me $300,000. I was like, shit,
wow.
I'm quitting all my jobs. I was like, I'll see y'all later. I gave my 3 weeks notice. I said, blessings, and I'm rolling out.
Yeah.
But I treated the space for 3 years. Every fucking day I would come here and sweep the front like it was mine. And then when it was snow, I would shovel it like the shit was mine. Still ain't have fucking keys. I'm like, man, I'm going to get the keys. Like for 3 years, I would beg him. I was like, you're not going to rent it out because people have been looking at it. I said, Kip, I'm going to get it. I said, don't let nobody get it. He said, I'm not going to wait another year. I said, you don't have to. I was like, I showed them the letter and everything. I said, you don't have to. I got the money. We got the money.
That's amazing.
We was on it. Like 3 weeks later, I was in here. I hadn't even had the lease yet. I said, let me get the keys so I can clean it out at least. So he let me clean it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then still, I still had to paint it. So I was in here like a month prior for getting the lease and everything. It was great.
All right. So the lesson is, I will never not believe something you say you're going to do, just so you know, because that is clear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People fuck around, find out.
Don't bet don't bet against Roz.
And a lot of people doubted me. They were like, the naysayers. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I was steadfast focused. I'm like, I know I'm going to get the place. Like, I'm working like 3 jobs. I'm going to get it, even if I got to work another year. I was determined.
I just want to make sure our audience is a pretty tuned in audience, but can you just give like the simplest explanation of what harm reduction is as a approach or philosophy?
So harm reduction is essentially if someone, let's say we're combating the HIV or the hepatitis. So we're trying to make sure that people don't spread it. We're going to give you a smoking kit so that you're not smoking out of plastic.
Gotcha.
Like just some of the stuff that they do. We're gonna give you these tools so that you don't further harm yourself. You're gonna use because you're in addiction, but you don't have to spread anything while you're using. That's what harm reduction is for me. I meet people exactly where they are.
Okay.
It's not something that you can arrest your way out of. You can't arrest someone for being unhoused. You shouldn't be allowed to just do these like inhumane things, like especially allowing like officers to conduct themselves in a way that's not humane, you know. They need additional training to deal with people who are unhoused and in addiction. Well, that's just something totally different from just being an officer in Center City or South Philly. Like Kensington is a whole nother world when it comes to people in addiction, people in unhoused. And there's just a certain way you got to treat people who are going through that struggle, and kicking them is not one of them.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot. And how they administer Narcan, too. I feel like police have recently been weaponizing it just to say, oh, I'm going to get them up.
Help me understand, how do you weaponize Narcan?
So when they're tired of people laying out and you tell them to move, or you can't lay here, or now there's this new bill or law, you're blocking the highway, is what they say. So if they can't get you up because you're heavily sedated because of the tranq, they'll give you Narcan. A Narcan doesn't work for metaltomidine or xylazine. So for them to use it, you're essentially weaponizing it, and you're sending someone into withdrawal unnecessarily. I would always recommend just call EMS and they'll come and get them.
Gotcha.
There's no need to send someone into withdrawal, especially if they have endocarditis, a blood infection. If they have all of these things and they're sent into withdrawal, they can be very deadly. And that's what they don't understand. When you're dealing with people in addiction and have underlying conditions, you can't just send someone into withdrawal like that.
Narcan putting people into withdrawal. Can you just explain what you mean by that?
So when you give someone naloxone, Narcan, it's an overdose reversal drug. If you give someone too much, what it does is, if someone's ODing, it blocks the receptors in your brain. It doesn't allow you to get high anymore. And it's reversing the effect of the overdose, right? But if you give them too much, you're going to make someone very, very sick. Like the first dose, you're going to feel queasy. You're going to feel a little queasy. You're going to feel a little sick. But if you give someone too much, instant withdrawal. Like you are vomiting, you're shitting your pants, you're pissing yourself. It is horrific. And if you have underlying condition like endocarditis, which is a heart condition, or the like blood infections, it's going to make things a lot worse for you when you go into the hospital. Which is why a lot of people, if you've given them like 4 Narcans, they're going to feel very sick. Like they need to be in the hospital. Some people have stroked out. Some people have had heart attacks. It's just so much that goes on with this withdrawal symptoms. When you think about, like the family of Amanda Cahill, who died on a prison floor because of going through withdrawal. And that's the initiative of the mayor, the wellness court, or the wellness village is what she's calling it. You're sending people into a place that used to be a prison and making it into a home. That's traumatizing in itself for someone who even went into the prisons as an inmate. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So, I don't know. It's just a lot of things that need to be done. And although money is good and money can get you certain places, money doesn't make you humane. You have to already have that in your heart. And some policies are not humane. And I just wonder what the motives are for people who are making money off the people who are suffering.
Do you feel like you're getting to a point where your work is having the impact that you want it to?
Is when students come back. So I have like a summer program where kids come, they're between the ages of 12 and 18. You got sunshines living on their block. Their uncles are sunshine. Their cousins are probably dealers. And we're dealing with this epidemic together, literally.
Gotcha.
And they know how to stop the bleed. They know how to reverse an overdose. And they know how to train people. So what we've done over the summer is we've trained over 300 stores, corner stores, on how to administer Narcan, how to stop the bleed if someone's stabbed or shot. And we provided the emergency response kits to those bodegas.
Wow. You do a lot, Roz. I can't even track it all. I got to tell you.
We have a team. It's really not just me, though.
Oh, no, I understand. I know it's not you solo, but
it is an amazing team. It takes an entire community to put these efforts into place and seeing results. I mean, they've seen our tourniquets go through these ERs, so I'm grateful.
All right. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your openness. I appreciate everything that you do. And I want to make sure, anything that I can do and that Mission Story Slam community can do to shine a light on the work that you're doing in Operation Save Our City, your whole team, let us know. Is there anything coming up in particular that you want to make sure the people listening are aware of?
Just that we always need additional support. Like we always need that little stuff here, water and individually wrapped snacks, so my mom doesn't always have to cook. Gives her a day off at the kitchen. But I like muffins and stuff for the morning is always great. Razors, because people still want to look good and feel good. And like little hand sanitizers and things like that. Wipes are a big help for folks who don't have access to showers and water. The basics. The basics here.
What about money? Are donations important for Operation Save Our City?
For sure. So yeah, if anyone wants to donate, Operation Save Our City of Culture Trust, they can donate to us anytime.
Where do we find you online?
So you can find me on Facebook, Operation Save Our City, or Roz Pichardo. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Operation Save Our City. And I think that's it.
Okay.
Oh, you can call the Sunshine House, too, if y'all want to talk to us, 267-804-7166. And if you want to drop off any snacks, we're at Sunshine House, 2774 Kensington Avenue. And if you're catching the L, you're going to get off right on Somerset and then come see us.
Is there any chance, you don't have to tell a story, but do you think there's any chance we might see you on November 18th for the next Story Slam, just to have you in the room?
Yeah, sure. I'll lock it in.
That would be great. It would be great to keep you as part of our community
sure.
at the Story Slam.
I was watching a bunch of them after I left, like previous ones. So
anything else before we close that you want to make sure we talk about?
No. Just be kind, and keep loving on them sunshines.
I cannot think of many better examples than Roz Pichardo, her story and her work at Operation Save Our City to demonstrate just what we are trying to do with the community of Mission Story Slam. Roz is exactly why we are trying to build a community for all of us doing the hard work of doing good. And we need your help to do that. So please, direct people to our website, missionstoryslam.org, or have them follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram. You could also bring yourself and some friends or colleagues out to National Mechanics on November 18th when we will have our 13th edition. The theme is Braver Today because we are part of Generosity's Philanthropy Week. Thanks again to our media partners at the Philadelphia Citizen. I strongly recommend checking out their reporting in leadership and solutions journalism. The Mission Story Slam podcast is produced by Dave Winston, and it is edited by James Robinson. The pod itself is produced and brought to you by PWPvideo. We are video with a mission. Find us at PWPvideo.com. Until our next episode, I sure do hope I remain Michael Schweisheimer, and I look forward to sharing the next story behind the story with you soon.